About 90% of Indian pet parents, even today, are first time pet parents.
20 years ago, Indian household would not spend on a pet treat or a pet food. So home cooked was the only option.
If you think pet industry is just about pet food, you need to watch this episode. It's one of the fastest growing industries right now, and big players are already eyeing it.
So pet industry is hot. So we get a lot of interest.
Your investors are local or they're from outside?
We have a mix of investors across from global markets as well as from the Indian market.
We are joined by two leaders building completely opposite model. One running a full pet care ecosystem with more than 17,000 products.
With the vision that from the moment somebody thinks of having a pet to eventually when the pet is no more, there is an opportunity to solve everything in the middle.
So what are the things you guys don't do in pet industry?
We don't do offline services. We don't do insurance.
There insurance for pet?
Yeah.
And another is scaling a single Himalayan chhurpi treat that now ships to over 30 countries.
There is hardly any competition in this category. We want more competition.
As a Dogsee, you guys have been going into a micro niche.
It is super niche, yeah.
Both models are winning it in completely different ways.
Can we talk about few opportunities that you guys are not tapping?
Cat food. It is a huge market. It is growing.
As contrary to popular belief, cat parents are more loyal than dog parents.
Really?
Why do you say so?
Justify that.
And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why pet care has become a category so many founders are now exploring.
We have to start making products which are healthier for dogs. We can't eat our products ourselves, then why feed it?
Any expensive mistake?
Expensive mistake.
This episode is strengthened by Hama Steel and insured by Himalayan Everest Insurance.
Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Doers in Bangalore series. I am so excited for this podcast because I think we have not really covered this part of the, economy, the pet part of the industry ever in the Doers, and pretty excited. And I hope you'll find your own takeaways to, as we say, get inspired, become a doer, pick ideas, and start building things. So, hi Vineet, hi Sneh, thank you so much for the time, and you guys made it on such a short notice. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
so
for
much.
having us.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll start with the most easiest question. Why pet? Vineet, you can go first.
I think it was very obvious for us. It's a category which was about 5 years back more of a heart space than a head space. It started becoming a head space in the last few years. It was such a large opportunity to be built. Though not many categories have multiple variables working in their favor, and I'll just talk about it. There is this growth of population that sits in this category. There is this growth of information that sits in this category, and then there is growth of involvement that sits in the category. If there are three such large, so while pets will continue to grow, their pet parents will be more knowledgeable, they'll be more involved, which means they will spend more as well. Now these kind of factors compound into each other and present a very, very beautiful and large opportunity, which was too tempting to be missed as a pet parent.
For us, it was different. So generally in any startup journey, you first identify a problem, a gap, feel very passionate about it, that you want to solve it. And then as Vineet said, there is, population, information and involvement of pet parents. But I'm talking 10 years back, category in India was not non-existent, as you can say. So for us, the journey was very funny that we first stumbled upon a product which me and Bhupi fell in love with. We said, "Bots, this is a beautiful product. Why no one is doing anything about it?" And then we thought this product has to become a brand and it has to enter this industry, which we didn't know that, industry exists or not. But we thought we have to do something about it. We bought it and we started playing around with the product, and then we started to explore the industry. We were pet parents, but we obviously didn't think of this industry as a business. So then when we started exploring it, then we were surprised that how big of industry it is and how many gaps there are in the industry and how there is no one who's doing anything about it. So it became our problem area, and then we started working on a solution.
I'm quite curious. I mean, like, as an entrepreneur, you generally look into the market, see the opportunity, you tap into it. But both of you guys are pet parents since many years. So, what brought you guys in? Was it the gap opportunity numbers that got you excited, or it was the love of pet? Okay, we need to do something around it.
For me, it was obviously, like I told you, we discovered this product first. And because we were pet parents, we were always looking for a solution. So we were guilty of feeding our pet uh, products which we wouldn't eat, or which we knew are, not good for him, but there were no other options. So we were able to immediately relate that, okay, this is a product which Bhupi grew up eating. Chhurpi is a traditional food. It is human grade. It is cruelty free. It is protein, calcium. So because we were pet parents, we obviously were, very curious that, let's try this. And that is the love of your pet, right? So we didn't think that this will be a product for our company, but first for our pet, and then it became a company.
I think in this category, it was very difficult to dissociate passion with the opportunity. It was, kind of hand in hand with each other. But what we truly believed was that the opportunity, and we still truly believe that the opportunity is so large that there is a very, very, big reason to build a large outcome in this category. There is so many factors of growth. There is, you can say, to some extent, growing competition, but not very, very established competition as well, or established players as well. And then there is this layer of emotion involvement, which, works as a risk and reward for yourself in the category. Now, if you combine all of these things, and it's a margin, favorable category as well, because when it comes to anything which is emotionally involved, you can discover a price and get better out of the PNL. If you club all of this, it becomes very difficult to differentiate whether it is passion first, opportunity first, or they go hand in hand. Obviously, one fuels the other. If you're passionate about it, you see the opportunity and then you go after it with that much rigor and determination. And if you see an opportunity and you're not passionate about it, it becomes very, very mechanical
And I think because
opportunity.
both of us are pet parents and we are passionate about work, and that's why we are able to churn good products. Because if you're not pet parents, we wouldn't know that, what our pet needs.
Do you think this is in India especially, is this a borrowed industry where the industry initially gained its momentum in West, and then eventually it started coming to this side of the world? But adding on to more context, I'm from Nepal, and then pet we celebrate this puja called Kukur Tihar. Kukur is the term we use for
We also
dog.
celebrate now here. Yeah.
Yes.
So if I really have to look back to the history, I mean, like, pet has been there with us since forever, right? But I mean, like, when we go to Gao and the village, we don't like, we see pets has been there since ages, but then not much of the investment around their food, around their care has been done. So coming back to my question, is this a borrowed industry in terms of investment that we are doing upon our pets?
I don't think that it's borrowed, because how do you borrow an industry when there is, say, no pet adoption in the country in the first place? So, first, pet adoption came. Within our community, say 10 years ago, there were, say, 100 pets. Now there are 1,000. So, people are adopting pets. Obviously, then there is demand for food and treats and snacks. And food or treat industry didn't evolve at first, right? So there were wet ecosystems. Then there were other things like, so India is also a market where home cooked food was given initially, but with other things like quick commerce and convenience, so people adopted a lifestyle first. And because of that lifestyle, people then thought, okay, now I don't want to, say, cook food at home. So is there an option available? So there were, kibbles available. So now there are wet foods, then treats. So I think these are all related industries and trends, and we are playing our parts.
I think in such an emotional in industry, it is always going to be very contextual to the geography and to the consumer of that geography. So it can never be borrowed. It is very difficult to borrow, when the involvement emotion quotient is so high, because uh, it's like with kids. Every kid is different. So every parent has a different parenting style, and you don't borrow parenthood from another, parent and say, I'll do it this way. And hence this applies to, the pet industry as well. The Indian pet parent is different. The Indian pet is different. The maturity stage of the pet economy in India is different. If we were to blindly borrow it as a model from any developed economy in this category, then we would probably not be servicing the specific need of the Indian pet parent, because the Indian pet parent's need might be very different from what they might be there in the other categories. About 90% of Indian pet parents even today are first time pet parents. They've never had a pet before in life. Whereas in most other economies, it's the other way around. They are experienced second, third time pet parents. So their problems, their issues, their needs, their gaps are going to be very, very different.
Mm. So while there is a challenge is to make these first time pet owners aware about product, it also comes with a huge opportunity because the number of players might be very less.
I think the opportunity comes from the fact that emotion is high, education is low. Now, that's a quadrant in which, the opportunity becomes very, very large. Because emotion is high, you want to do better for your pet. You want to take care of with the best food, the best health care, the best, products available. But you don't know what to do. You don't know which food to buy. You don't know, what is quality healthcare look like. Now that's where the opportunity lies. That's where the opportunity for every brand lies. The opportunity for every ecosystem or platform lies. For every service provider in this category in the country lies. The only thing is that because it is emotional, you'll have to do it very, very well, because it's very high trust based and very easy to break that trust also.
But I think going back to your original question, when you are comparing, say, a Nepal's pet parent with an Indian pet parent, so I think it also depends on the stage of the economy. Say 20 years ago, Indian household would not spend on a pet treat or a pet food, so home cooked was the only option. But as the middle class is growing and the purchasing power is increasing, in India and everywhere in the world, keeping a pet is very expensive. So you have to invest in on their food and health. So I think as the economy evolves, I'm sure within 10 years in Nepal, you will start seeing new startup brands within pet care coming up. And then households buying the product versus cooking. And that has happened in India. And I'm sure in any evolving economy, it will happen.
Mm-hmm. You said something that really gets, I mean, like as a marketer, it gets me excited when somebody says high emotion,
Low
Yeah.
low
education.
education.
So emotions drive decisions not just in this industry but any industry, and this one is highly
High,
emotional.
and
So,
no education.
yeah.
Low
Yeah.
education.
And that's why we need more competition. When Vineet was saying that there is hardly any competition in this category, so I think both of us will agree that we want more competition, because this industry will become big when there are more players coming, because they will also educate part of their customer base. So not, we can't do it alone. So at least few hundreds we need.
They say now, for any sports to prosper in any geography, you not just need players, you need coaches, you need grounds. All of it has to
The
happen.
ecosystem.
You need audience.
You need audience.
Yeah.
You need infra.
Exactly.
All of it has to happen for the that sports to sponsor or that category to become bigger.
A couple of minutes ago, we talked about the structure of Supertails, right? And it got me pretty excited because I think that makes me think e-commerce as a traditional approach of selling stuff online. Could you tell us, our audience, a bit more about the structure you have built around Supertails?
So back 5 years back, I think the three of us, Aman, Varun, and myself, we took upon ourselves one very difficult, but we felt that the only way that was the right task of building this category. We said that we will build something in pet care because there is education gap, there is a large growth, there is lack of established consolidation. It's very fragmented. So we said we'll build something, with the vision that from the moment somebody thinks of having a pet to eventually when the pet is no more, there's an opportunity to solve everything in the middle. So which means it will be Supertails was born with the vision of an ecosystem play to address all the pet parents' needs and all the pets' needs across the life cycle, across the breeds, across the geographies, across products and services. Uh, it makes it sounds very difficult, and it indeed is, which means that you will not have to do just one thing, but to focus on many things. You'll always have to go away from the temptation of when to do what, because there is a gap that exists in so many things. Prioritization becomes a key. So hence we said we'll do this one by one, and today Supertails has evolved into solving multiple pet care needs, from supplies to medicines to clinics and healthcare services, vaccination, at home services, quality nutrition, through our own labels. So we look at these as all pet parent needs. In business parlance, they are categories. But how we can be with that same pet parent across the life stage, build trust once, and then address all their pet parent needs throughout whatever 12 years of pet's life that they have.
So what are the things you guys don't do in pet industry?
We don't do a lot of things in pet
Okay.
industry. As I said, this category almost feels like that desert in which the moment you put some water, the water gets soaked in.
Yes.
Because there is a gap, there is fragmentation in everything that is a pet parent's need. We don't do offline services, we don't do insurance, we don't do
The insurance for pet?
yeah, there
It is a industry now. Yeah.
so there are so many pet parents needs. There is transportation, there is relocation, there is training, offline training. There are so many pet parent needs that we don't do as of now.
So are you constantly adding these verticals year by year?
Every year we have added one major category in the last 5 years of our existence. We started with food, then we built in accessories, we brought in our private labels in our second year. In our third year, we became a pharmacy, e-commerce destination. Medicines we started delivering in a few hours instead of a few days. Then last year we added offline clinics and multi-speciality hospitals into our ecosystem. We have launched at-home services. There is still so much more to do.
So I also want to ask you one question: that how difficult this is to switch gears, because you are doing one thing up, so from platform to then manufacturing to clinics and then other services. So as founder, also you have to keep evolving, right? And then between founders, you have to divide roles. So how difficult is your journey of this evolution?
And as if you have to, adding on to that, as if you have taken a more tougher route to building a business.
Yeah, the tougher routes, if done well, would always create more value. That's how
100%.
we look at it. It is challenging, but it is more rewarding as well. And we look at all of it as only one thing in the center, which is the pet in the center and the pet parent alongside it. Whatever service, whatever product offering that we end up launching, if we were not to use it for our own pet or ourselves as a pet parent, which is at least 10 times better than the average of the category, we won't launch it. We won't go out in the market and lose the trust of any pet parent that is already engaging with us for one service. It's like saying, if I get one grooming wrong in one of my offline centers for one pet, even if I have delivered 50 supply orders to them at their home within 30 minutes, lightning fast, I still have the chance of losing the trust of that pet parents. That is the risk and reward of this category. So we will not do anything that we are not sure of being delivered at least 10 times better than what we would otherwise go in a fragmented category like this. It requires a lot of prioritization. It requires a lot of holding back at times. Ki nahi, we will do this a little later. There will be a time to come. This is a long term patience play. This category is not going to get built overnight. It's not going to get disrupted overnight as well. It is going to get disrupted with a thought and a model and an execution, and not just by how many at what time. So that has been our approach. It is probably the biggest challenge that we have, which is to prioritize, is to focus and not get taken away by this looks like something which can become big in the future. I think if we are there for the long run, everything is going to become big in the future, and then we have to be at that vantage point then.
So when you have 3 founders, so how does the work get divided among 3?
So yeah, we have the platform, which is one of the founders, Varun, looks after that. Then we have healthcare and services. Then the other founder, Aman, looks at that. But the real success of Supertails is going to lie if all these pet parent needs are integrated together through that common pet and the common pet parent. So we have this user integration, which I look after. Right from acquiring a user to making them experience all the categories that Supertails offers, and then being able to use the data that we have gathered through all our communication to keep relevant engagement going on, preempt a service need, preempt a food need for a pet parent or a pet before they come in. So the third part, which is the user part, is what I look at. Obviously, each one of us looks at one of the functions which comes more naturally to us. So Varun looks after product, Aman looks after finance and customer experience, and I look after supply chain.
Wow. Now, contrary to that, here we are with the super niche. Would it be wrong if I say you guys, like as a Dogsee, you guys have been going into a micro niche? I mean, like
Yeah.
more
We just
deeper
have
side.
one product, so it is super niche. Yeah.
I remember yesterday. It was yesterday we were talking, and you were telling me I make sure that we have less and less products so that we have more focus. So tell me about it. I mean, like, how difficult is it to say no to a product? I mean, like, let's not do this, and just stick to one.
See, all my life, I feel that saying no is more important than saying yes is very easy, right? And comes with a lot of distractions. So when you know what the focus should be, so then saying no becomes very easy. So obviously the data. So I was just telling Vineet before we started that we were almost ready with our cat treats, cat food, and everything was done, packaging. But last May I said, no, we are not ready yet, because if we do this, it will take away a lot of focus. And it's not just that launching a new product, it requires your marketing engine, and then your supply chain, logistics, production, everything, just for one product. So we were not really doing justice to our other categories yet, and then adding another product is anyway, it's a criminal waste of time, energy, resources, money, everything. So and we have chhurpi as our one biggest hero category, but we are, as a company, we are adding new products like now supplements. So we know that as a company we'll always be health focused, we'll always be supplementing, so the functional benefit of the products are very important. We are solving gaps, that if people are not really manufacturing healthier options for pets, so we have taken that responsibility. So it comes with a lot of research, so you can't just launch a new product. For Supertails also, they just have 11 SKUs, I guess, right? So because they are also research focused, and it takes time, because it's not an industry where there are a lot of people making things, so we have to do everything from scratch. So from your research to ingredients to making the machines, everything is custom. So it's impossible to churn products the way other industries do, because there is a lot of groundwork which we have to first learn ourselves, and then ask vendors that can you do this, and then learn with them, fail with them, and then go to market.
And especially when they're building differentiated products.
Yeah.
Me Too products can be churned
Yeah.
much faster. But
Yeah, that we don't want to
differentiation.
be.
Yeah, differentiation, if you have to build, and which we should build, it takes time.
And within our category, there are so many problems to solve first, right? So chhurpi is easy to, it looks easy from a distance. But when you are manufacturing that at scale, so it comes with a lot of challenges. So, just perfecting the product, the texture, making sure the shelf life is the same, the texture is the same, flavor is the same. So we added new flavors on it first. And when we started scaling, so there were difficulties, so we had to, and it is capital intensive, so you have to put in a lot of money in your manufacturing. So as a business, you have to take a call that, you have X capital, do you want to put it in your existing product and grow it first, or then you add more and then get diluted.
Capital intensive because there are a lot of humans involved, right? Because I got an opportunity to
No,
go
not
to
that way. So it is capital intensive because the production cycle is long. So it takes 40 days to make one batch, and 40 days of drying, and then say 45 days of shipping. So your 3 months are just gone where you have not received the money of that inventory. Plus, this is milk, right? So milk industry works on advances. So you have given the advance already 3 months ago, and you will receive money, say, on the fourth month. That too, if you're,
The batch passes.
yeah, and if your customers are, your bulk customers are, buying, giving on time. So there is huge capital in this. The rotation of the capital is huge. So risks are huge.
So first time I got to know about Dogsee, I thought it as a dog food. But then Bhupidai started telling me, oh no, you have to understand dog food and dog treats are two different things. And now you guys are just doing one product. Why? Because dog food is a bigger category, right? And then the dog treats are a smaller part of the dog food. So why not to go for a if you guys are looking at just one product, why not to go for a bigger market than just to be very specific niche?
It's a totally different industry. Within the industry, it is an industry, right? So it is high volume, low margin product, and Vineet will be able to tell you, better. But if we start, it's a different play. So if we want to be in a treats category, treats itself is huge. So globally, and we are exports first, right? So globally, it's a $120 billion industry. And say if it's 30% also, if it's treat, it is huge. So there is so much space and play for everyone within treats industry. So I think we all have to pick our expertise and niche, and I think we have found a beautiful product which we understand, and we think that we are already supporting Indian ecosystem, people in the villages, and we are changing their lives by this product. So why not? Food can be added, but not now.
And also it is a high margin.
It is high margin, yeah.
So, open-ended question to both of you. What are the key metrics that gets you excited every day? I mean, like towards the business growth. Okay, there is more can be done. So, if we can talk, we did talk about a few interesting metrics, but
I think, and at Supertails, the only metric that keeps us driven is customer retention. There is no business which can be built if the customer is not coming back. You more than 50-60% of the capital ever raised by any organization across any industry business model is used in acquiring users. Which means it is the largest use of capital, it is the largest cost center as well. Now, if that cost center starts to become a leaky bucket, wherein you have to acquire a user and then you lose a part of it, and then you have to acquire another user to get your revenue growth, then there is no way you can become economically viable. So at Supertails, from the person who attends a call at the call center, to the vet who's at the clinic, to the functional leaders, including the three of us, have only one North Star metric, which is customer retention.
No, okay, nice answer. But my question, let me reframe my question. I think I should reframe it. What metrics makes you excited about the size of a market?
Okay. So I think the things that make us excited about the size of the market is first is the population growth rate of pets. I think there's a nuance to it. While everybody says it's a 10-11% annual growth rate of pets, we have to look at it that this is the only category where this is a 10% net growth. On a 10-year lifespan, about 10% pets are passing away every each year as well. So when you have 10% net growth, that means you're actually adding 20% pets, new pets every year. Now that's a nuance which changes this category very, very differently. So that's one thing that keeps us going. The second thing that keeps us very excited is what is the demographics of this new pet parent. The new pet parent is younger, more internet penetrated, is tech savvy, and hence is much more involved about the pet. Is this pet parent is not cooking food for themselves at home, is ordering in from all these platforms. So then how can this pet parent take the responsibility of cooking home cooked food for their pet? That is a big shift that brings into the calorie conversion and more packaged food penetration in the category. And the third thing is that from the Google searches, from the conversations across online communities, etc., you see that there is so much chatter about around education. I want to know this about how to feed my pet. What do I do when my pet is moving from 6 months to a 12-month life stage, which shows that the involvement is rising. These younger pet parents with the 20% more getting added each year are even wanting to know more, wanting to do more, and wanting to do the best for their pets. And this is again an articulation of growth of population, education, and involvement. Come back to that again, but this is what, in terms of metrics, it translates as.
And globally, the trend which we are seeing is premiumization of pet food and treats. It's on a rise, and it is good for both our companies because we are trying to premiumize treats and food both. Humanization, so cleaner ingredients and transparent labels. So that is also which we as companies follow. So those are good trends, and a very interesting metrics which we saw globally, that in the US, number of pets in a family are increasing than the kids aged under 10. So people are now, so parents, they are going child free, and it's a trend now, and they are only adopting dogs, and that is the that is the market that is saying that there'll be more dogs going forward than kids. So good news for us.
Actually, US spends more on pets than on kids.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. And I think plus the nuclearization of the family, a lot of people moving from villages to cities, the loneliness, I think everything adds up to onto it, right?
Yes, it does. I think we are all, as humans, we want, companionship. That every age, every walk of life, we all look for companionship. With delayed marriages, decreasing fertility rates, the opportunity to get that companionship is reducing. But the need for companionship will not go away. And hence the need to fulfill that quite scientifically is done best through another companion in the form of a furry kid. So that is very, very scientific, growth pattern that will lead to, more adoption. When, you are a 24-year-old living in Bangalore alone, probably do not have a relationship at this point in time, definitely not even dreaming of marriage, at least for the next 5 years. The idea of getting a pet sounds exciting. Instagram helps it even further because they look really cute on those social media appearances, and then you suddenly find yourself alongside a pet maybe a week from when you've thought about it. Because that is the first responsibility. There is not so much thought about at times ki, how much time should I think before getting a pet as well. So there is some form of impulse behavior in getting a pet also starting to come in.
Mm. And why are you guys just focused on export market? I mean, like you said, just 5% of our product is for India, and then rest we are focusing
So
abroad.
our product is slightly premium for the Indian market. We have great customers in India, but a very small set of customers. But if you see the Western market, the US, UK, European pet industry has evolved, and the like Vineet said, the amount of money they spend on their pets, we can't compare it with the Indian pet parent. So Indian pet school, there is a lot of education that still is required, which we are. So it's not that we don't want to focus. We will focus in a small way. We are here, and for next 10 years, we really feel that the industry size will exponentially grow, and our part will also have a we'll have a major part to play. But when you start a company, your next focus is revenue generation. So for us, the easiest revenue came from exports, because there was a gap and there were people ready for the product and with money. So it became easier for us. And right now, our product is limited by supply. So whatever we are manufacturing, we are not even able to cater the demand which we have in the other countries. So that's why India as a focus is little less, but in long run we want to focus more here.
If you have to give it a number, for example, let's say if the European and American market is 10 in terms of readiness to buy dog treats, what number would you give to India? Just for the
I
sake of a
see.
comparison.
Basically, it's not apple to apple comparison, because I'm saying price point. So our treat, say one bar is say $10 to $12 in the UK industry, and within UK it is the most expensive. So here, people in $10 they'll buy a full bag of treats or food. So that way, here the readiness, every pet parent wants to feed something, but at what price point?
So, if just a rough number, again, I'm just trying to come to a number. If you have to give it a year, how long do you think it will take India to be ready to buy a $10 bar for the dog?
15 years. Yeah.
Do you agree to that?
See, premiumization will happen. I think obviously by time value of money itself, today's $2 will become closer to $15, or at least half part of that journey will be fulfilled. By the inflationary angle itself. But what is going to be interesting is that the non-discretionary spends or spends on quality is going to rise, and hence the sensitivity or consciousness to price is going to come down. uh, you know it would be very crystal gazing at this point in time to say whether it will happen in 15 or 10 or 5. It will happen sooner than we can imagine.
We want to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
but
want to it to
Touch wood.
happen
yeah, yes.
sooner than we can
Yeah.
imagine. So it is going to happen for sure.
And how are investors reacting to this market? I mean, like, what's the scene in India right now? Because you both have raised funds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So investors have, there is a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, effervescence around this category at this point in time. 5 years back, investors used to think of this category around a cloud of questions. Is this category large enough? Will this be built online or offline? Are people going to spend on healthcare? Are people going to spend on packaged food, or they will continue to, give it out of the dining table itself? Over the last 3 years, post that, we started to see investments of believers of pet category. People who believed in pet category, either they drew inspiration from their investments in global economies where pet care was proven, or they were strong believers that this category gets built in every economy sooner or later. So that's how the first set of investments started to come in. After that, in the next couple of years, real proofs of data points started to come in. You were seeing brands growing upwards of 25%, 30% CAGR year on year. Yeah, Google search volumes were growing upwards of 50%. So then the proof points started to fit in together. You know, now in the last 12 to 18 months, there's a very few investors talking about how much is the size of this category going to be. The conviction on the size of the category by design, by so many variables playing out in the last 5 years is there. Now the question is, who is going to win it? How is the business model going to be, which is going to be with the pet parent for a larger wallet share, for larger time, and for more value creation? So the questions have changed, and quite positively.
And your investors are local or they're from outside?
We have a mix of investors across from global markets as well as from the India
But
market.
global investors coming in India and acquiring companies, and companies like Nestle coming in, showing interest in local brands, that also changed a lot of stuff. So more investors started, taking the industry seriously, and it kind of is hot right now. So pet industry is hot. So we get a lot of interest, because they want something in the pet industry, because they know that they are investing in the future.
It's also one of the temptations we have to keep ourselves always away from, is to always keep focusing on the business, because there is so much interest. Execution always, some we have to be mindful about the execution, not getting distracted.
Here
by,
also you have to say no.
here also,
A lot of no.
yeah.
That's a good problem to be in. Mm, mm. What is something you guys don't like about this industry?
I personally don't like that how unregulated it is, and that's we have been discussing that. Uh, I think till even now I'm not sure if it's still under FSI or not. I don't think it is. So it is. So
FSI is?
it is a food board.
Food safety regulations for humans, that is
Yeah.
not even applicable to the pet
Pet.
industry.
So people can. It is a it. It is still a byproduct industry largely. So people are not really, because it is pets, right? So it's not the health of pets is not taken seriously yet, and that's why role of companies like ours is huge. That we have to shift that. We have to start making products which are healthier for dogs. And like we said that if we can't eat our products ourselves, then why feed it? And you can't feed that. So that mindset which companies like ours are bringing, so that has to be the normal in the industry, which is not right now.
What about you?
I think I fully agree with Sneh over there. There's not beyond that too much to not like in the industry. But I think one way to look at it is, there should always be certain barriers of entry in any industry. Certain barriers. It should not be completely, free trade. Because there is no regulation, anybody can, stand up tomorrow with any form of capital and say, here are products for pets, no matter what the background is, from where they are made, what quality they are, do they even classify as products of consumption or not. Though at least that levels of barriers should exist in every industry for the eventual progress of the industry. While getting in more players in the industry always helps, but if they come in with a lower bar of quality, in the long run the industry suffers more than it progresses. So you go 2 steps forward and then 5 steps backward as well. So that is something that I always am a bit wary about, that it is relatively easy to enter the industry.
Since both of you guys were the early, you guys did the early entry in the market. I mean, like, you were one of the first few players, so you must have made so many mistakes, right? I mean, like, so one of my agenda was from this podcast was to pick a few things that young population, 24-year-old guy from any part of the India, any part of the Nepal could pick few ideas and implement and become a doer, start a business. So would you like to, can we talk about few of the early mistakes that you guys did, which you would not have done provided that the market was already established or mature?
Yeah, because there was nobody to look up to. So there was literally nobody in the pet industry. There was no rule book to even start the company. There were no other mistakes of other companies from where we could learn. So we had to make our own mistakes and then learn. So it became very exhausting, time consuming, and we wasted a lot of money also on it. For example, in Dogsee, we thought we'll start exports. But within exports, there are so many regulations, and you have to, it's a journey of its own, learning of its own. So, our containers after containers, we have discarded at the port because there were, some certification problems.
And you can't even bring back.
No,
Dispose it like.
yeah. I mean, now we know that, there might be way arounds, but that time we didn't know. So we had to, lose not just 3 months of the transit time, but the product at the port. And if we even if we have to get it back, then the damages. So those things we didn't know that, how to solve those things early on. Manufacturing problems. So scaling, setting up manufacturing, then scaling manufacturing. So those things, even for us, it is a dairy industry, right? But there were no equipments ready to use. So we had to custom build a lot of stuff within just for manufacturing of chhurpi, because earlier chhurpi was made at homes in Nepal or Darjeeling, right? So there were hardly any equipment. It's a cheese which you make at home. But when you are making it into an industry, you really need, equipments. There were no equipment that time. So we had to waste or invest a lot of time in learning and then training other people. And those were expensive mistakes, not just money, but time. So we were till in our journey for 5 years, we only had 2 SQs because we couldn't do anything else. We were just, trying to learn that part of it. And each country would enter, there was a learning curve because each country is different. Japan is totally different. The certifications are totally different. Then making our factories compliant with those regulations. So you had to then, consult with a lot of people. So if I had to start this company now, I would just maybe, call Vineet and ask you, ऐसा कैसे करते हैं? This certification कैसे करते हैं? उस time था ही नहीं. So we had to just rely on ourselves.
So what you said, anyone can enter in the market. So seems like export side is quite difficult to enter in, right?
It is not difficult, but it requires a lot of ecosystem. Yeah.
And back then, not many content was available, I guess.
Nothing was available.
Do you think is
yeah.
it available now for young people to look into internet and then understand the
No, the
dynamics?
content is still not available. So even right now, we talk to our friends in the same ecosystem. They find it very difficult to export to the US, for example. So the regulation, agar Amazon FBA karna hai, kaise karte hain, and then the warehousing, and do we need registration in the company? UK is a very difficult territory to enter. So EU, each country in EU, you need a VAT registration. You can't register a country just like that. You need, importers of record. So those things, there is no one place you can go and then learn everything or find information about it. And that's why not many brands are doing exports as yet, because it is difficult.
So for you, is it so the decision of introducing a new product and the decision of entering a new market, is it the difficulty level is same? I mean, like the amount of thought process that goes into.
I think launching a new product is it requires a lot of research, because it comes with a lot of responsibility that it has to match with your existing portfolio, and it has to then be liked by the future customers. But entering a new territory, it is technical, right? You only have to understand the technicalities of it, have the right people, and get the documentation done, and it's done. But it is a lot of hard work that way.
I think if we reflect back on our mistakes, it has largely been on just the lack of prioritization, or maybe the reprioritization, which is like saying for some categories we felt we came in a little too late, and for some categories we always felt we came in a little too early. For some categories we felt that we should have done this before that, and for the others the vice versa. For an ecosystem, that will largely remain as one of the biggest differences between what we end up creating and what we can create is to minimize those mistakes, preempt those things in the future, and crystal gaze as to when do we want to look at the future of Supertails, and what are the transitions of the same. There are multiple such instances wherein we always felt this, probably if we should have done pharmacy a lot earlier, probably we could have done some of the categories inside Henlo are private label a little later, and so on, or maybe one before the other, or change the. But all of those are mostly hindsight reflection.
Any expensive mistake?
Uh, Expensive mistake. I think touch wood, we've not made an expensive mistake
But
so far.
launching a new product early also is expensive, right? So
Yeah.
you need to produce
So,
it, market
the
it.
only good part about being a platform is that even if you end up making a mistake, let's say in terms of launching something too early, too late is still not a mistake. It is an opportunity lost, which you can probably recover later. But if you end up launching something too early, as a platform, you always have a backup plan to always say, okay, we can always reduce the focus on it. We can reduce the amount of investment also on it, because in the longer term, everything fits into the puzzle. So while you would have maybe preponed your investment in terms of time, effort, and money, but it will give results later. There is no need to continue to invest on it and put more money and behind bad money at for that point in time, but always revisit it in the future. So there will always be whether those mistakes were expensive or not, large or not. It's about how you quickly adapt to say, okay, I will not let it matter as much, because in an ecosystem play, we will have to do everything. We stop certain things, but we focus and double down on the things which are working more.
As an entrepreneur, there is a saying that the problem is not lack of ideas, but abundance of ideas. There's so many things that we want to do, but then if you don't prioritize, it's a road to south. So, what I'm trying to ask is, you must have seen a lot of other opportunities which you guys will not do, because there's already a list of prioritization, and then you rather want to focus on that, make it successful, and then even think of tapping into that opportunity. But within the pet ecosystem, can we talk about few opportunities that you guys are not tapping, and you see smart people, smart young entrepreneurs would come in, tap into that, and build a business around it?
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, for example, cat food. It is a huge market. It is growing. Cat as a pet is growing in India and globally. But as Dogsee, we don't want to do it yet. But there are other companies who have come and they have made good products and growing. Um, there another category which is toys. So dog toys is growing, but we as a company we don't want to focus on it yet. Then there are other things when we go and see data. So cat litter and poop bags. So those are growing products in the category, but we don't want to do that. So that is our
So mostly you
prioritization.
see a lot of opportunity, mostly cat side.
Cat is growing, yeah.
See, it's a tricky question for Supertails, because in the long term,
We're gonna do
we
everything.
should ideally be doing everything. If we are not doing something, then probably that is not that category or that offering or that need is not large enough in terms of the pet present at that point in time's ecosystem. The gap is not large. It, if anything, affects a large number of people for a large number of times and with a large amount of pain, then we should be doing it.
So let me reframe my question. So maybe we can talk about ideas where people can pick it up and make the domain large enough for you to come and later tap into it.
I think he's asking for suggestions for the new entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
That what.
So I think in the pet ecosystem in India, a couple of things to be crystal gazed into the future would be, things around preventive healthcare are going to grow significantly, whether it is around devices which track health, or whether it is around products like supplements, etc. in the future, wherein it's not needed, but it will be good for the pet. Those kind of categories will grow. Second is, a lot of non-healthcare offline services will grow in the country. As the Indian
For example,
as the Indian consumer, for lack of a better word, is getting lazier. There will be things like dog walking, dog sitting, dog boarding, all those kind of services where this younger pet parent would need help with. He or she will not be able to do it all alone. He or she does not belong to a family where there are different responsibilities that will get shared between different parts of the family. He or she has to do everything on their own, and then they will need help. Because they will need help, they will, probably adopt these kind of services, and they will grow faster than the overall category. The third thing I think that is going to grow around this is a lot of technology enabled products, whether things like automatic feeders, water dispensers, gadgets which can take care of the pets
While you're
overall
away.
health, well-being, all those kind of things. These will grow faster than the overall category. The point to be probably checked by with every entrepreneur who enters this is, uh, it will grow fast. Even at that fast growth, when is it large enough to build a business? When is it large enough to say that yes, something meaningful can be made? Because the first few mls of water into this desert just vanish, so everybody starts to get excited. Oh, there is early traction. How do you differentiate early traction into something that can be built for long term, for scale? Is a tricky one in this category.
Has it happened to you where you have introduced something, a product or service, but later in a month or so, or after a certain time, you pulled it back because you realized this is not sustainable?
So we have done that. We didn't pull it back. In fact, we put it on hold right in the consumer study thing aspect itself. We had acquired a company around a pet health tracking device. We got the prototype ready. We got the first 200-300 products ready as well. But we didn't take it to the market because we felt today the the category has not evolved as much for me to build a very large business out. If I think of selling 5,000 units of the same, I might be able to do it. But if I have to sell 50,000 units of the same, then I am investing in it at the wrong time. I should invest in it for the future. For an example, a lot of people come to us and say, why not build an insurance product for the pets? Now, what we say is, for insurance to happen, healthcare infrastructure has to happen first. In humans, healthcare infrastructure got built first, and insurance is still, lagging and chasing, that. If infrastructure of pet healthcare does not exist in the country right now, we would be, a little bit, ahead of ourselves thinking of insurance. It sounds fancy. The pets should get insured. Where would you claim those insurances? What on what things to claim? It's not clear as of now.
Help me understand the difference between uh, dog as a vertical and a cat as a vertical, maybe in terms of profitability, revenue, the demand, the growth.
Uh, I'll start with a very interesting thing. As contrary to popular belief, cat parents are more loyal than dog parents.
Really?
Why do you say so?
How do you justify that?
The simple reason, cat is a finicky but very decisive animal when it comes to its choices of nutrition. So it doesn't change so easily, but once it gets fixated on one kind of nutrition, it doesn't move away from it. So it's very continuous. You can't feed too much of home cooked food and milk to cats, which you can probably end up giving to dogs. So because of that, the packaged food penetration in cats is bigger. Even at a 1/5 of the population of their counterparts in dogs, it is very fast becoming an equal share of revenue in the overall market.
Wow.
For Supertails, the cat business is even bigger than the dog business, for the simple reason that we even focused more on cats. From a revenue per kg, value density, repeatability, margins, all kinds of business variables, also the cat business is more profitable, is more lucrative to the PNL. Interestingly, the cat pet parent is also more convenience seeking, because the first thing about choosing cat as a pet over dog itself personifies the pet parent as little bit more convenience seeking, more hassle free pet parenting than compared to a dog, which is, more effort led, more responsibility, etc., etc. So it is this cat parent persona is the younger generation, so there is more spending, more repeatability, more education seeking, uh, multiple such differences which make cat a very, very exciting
Can you
category.
also tell a little bit about the geographies from where your most revenue is coming? So, is it tier 2, tier 3 cities, metros?
So interestingly, when we had thought of the business, we thought that this is going to be a metro phenomenon. Maybe 85% of the business will come from the top 7, 10 metros, and we just need to build it for this. We were positively surprised, and now we reflect back on it. We understand why we were positively surprised, because interestingly, this category always existed in non metros. There was always space in our hometowns, tier 2 hometowns, where dogs always existed. It's just that they were not talked about as pets. They were shelter dogs, they were guard dogs, they were, in out pets who just used to be with humans in those. As pets started to get humanized, this category actually moved from tier 2 to tier 1, as compared to most of the categories which move from tier 1 to tier 2. For that reason, even when we launched Supertails, even within the first 6 to 12 months, we started seeing almost 40% of the business coming from non-metros, 45% of the business coming from non-metros. Uh, Today, Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay are, almost are equal large big markets, and together they contribute about 50% of the business, and the remaining metros take the remaining share. But this pet parent who lives in Indranagar is also, from a persona perspective, available in 24 Parganas, West Bengal, is available in Coimbatore, is available in Ludhiana, is available in every nook and corner. That persona exists. The person who's involved with their pet, who wants to give quality, to their pet, and wants to spend on their pet with nutrition, healthcare, and pampering them with accessories, etc. That exists.
Life is quite ironic. I mean, like, we have been taught that dogs are the most loyal pet, and then you are saying the cat
Parents should
parents
also
are
be
more loyal than.
loyal
For
customers
the
to
business,
Supertails.
they are more
Yeah,
loyal.
yeah. Will we ever see a cat in your logo then? Because now that we are talking about cat might soon overtake the revenue vertical compared to
So
dogs.
interestingly, this is not a dog.
Oh,
This
this is not a
is
dog?
this is
A
a
pet?
neutral pet.
Okay. Oh,
This just showcases that a cheerful, lively pet, uh, which has been demonstrated. It was always kept with the thought process that Supertails will be a platform for all pets alike, not just cats or dogs. So the name, that's why, is Supertails, and even the logo. While it seems like it is only connoting a dog, it is a happy pet.
neutral pet. That's a new term for me. What are the other pets that you see being adopted in? Because we have seen on movies people outside adopt pig as a pet,
Aquatics, I think. So,
aquatics.
yeah, so that is big. Bird food is.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, they're very
bird.
small compared to dog and cat, but these are, uh, the complementary categories.
The growing categories are still a long way to go. About 3% of the overall pet population in the country is non-dog, non-cat. So 97% is taken care of by these pets itself. Uh,
Which is the
the
growing
only
one?
thing which is not talked about in this is fish, because you can't count them, easily, because you technically count all of them as one household, as a fish household, rather than the number of fish over there. So leaving that aside, 97% is between dog and cats, about 80% of which is dogs, and 20% is cats. Still, the market is close to, similar.
A bit before you mentioned how you guys are one of the largest employer of vet. So I believe this is one of the industry which is, I mean, like we would generally listen to a vet, right? So do you feel powerful in terms of you might have that, how do I say it,
Leverage.
leverage, or
Yeah.
maybe you can control the narrative in a good way, obviously for the community, for the business. Do you feel? Do you ever think of like, okay,
See, if you ever interact with a vet and you come across a lot of vets, you will you will mostly see there is nothing more purer than the heart of a vet. So a vet always comes from a place of real compassion to animals, and that's why that they chose that profession. uh, what it also means is that when the knowledge is low, there has to be some position of authority which has to guide these first time pet parents into helping. That what we have done is we have combined these two. There is a platform for the vets to get attached to, and there is a need of the pet parents to take advice from the vet. Supertails comes at the interjection of these two. And what we as we mentioned about building a category, you will have to sometimes to build large outcomes, you will have to sometimes build supply as well. So we will some of us will have to create more vets in the ecosystem as well. We'll have to upskill more vets in the ecosystem. We'll have to provide a platform for the highly skilled vets to excel and do better for the pets. So Supertails kind of sits on that Infosys model of engineers that was created about 3 decades ago, which is now a very very famous model. But we will have to do that for good supply creation in
But
vets in
say
the
10
category.
years from now, when your own brands like Henlo grow and you expand into different products, categories, supplements, and nutraceuticals, and then you have vets growing, at that when you'll have a position of authority because you are also recommending food and treats and supplements to your customers, how will you be neutral in your prescription?
See, I think we would always want to recommend than prescribe. And that's the first thing, when it comes to, you know, you as humans, when we go to a doctor, when a doctor tells us about you can do this is what I would recommend versus you should do only this, we always tend to have a a higher trust on the first one, wherein we feel that there's no agenda being driven over here. We would want to stay true to that form over here as well, while we would have access to leverage our own products through our vets. We would still want the vets to do what is the best for the pet. uh, on the other side, how we can still achieve both is to make products which are best for the pet.
But there'll still be bias, right? So I'm just thinking, that, for example, tomorrow if Practo launches line of medicines or Mankind launches a platform, so then how do you? It'll be a huge task to then still have the trust of the customer that you are still being neutral and recommending what is actually best and not
Yeah.
which is generating more revenue for the company.
See, it's a you gain trust from multiple things. And if the pet parent has trust on the fact that the vet is going to be able to recover my pet, or the vet is going to be able to provide a healthier longer life to my pet, everything else in the life of a pet parent doesn't matter. In the high emotional quotient category, that comes the first. uh, I think that balance of being able to be true to a platform and being able to obviously recommend products that are our own will always remain in an ecosystem play. That is true for any platform that brings in their own products. I think we would rather want the right for the pet and build the trust with the pet parent. If we have built the trust with the pet parent and we know the products are good, then even if, let's say, we are pushing them, it hardly matters.
Do you have any some sort of community of entrepreneurs in this space where you guys come together, talk, share the ideas? And
No,
no?
no, so far I don't think so.
I think what I would say is that 5 years back it was absolutely not there. It was sometimes difficult to even find a group of 100 pet parents together.
Yeah.
Ah, but now recently we have started to see so many entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs entering this category that you come across a lot of pet parents. It has not transformed into a structured dialogue. Somebody probably has to take a lead in that, but it's really exciting to see the number of you know high quality minds entering the category.
So how, there are events for, say, tech entrepreneurs. So we also want a platform where there are only pet entrepreneurs. So there is no community at that scale yet because there are not many companies, and maybe eventually we'll reach that level.
Let me ask you a very funny question, or maybe stupid question. Who do you consider your customer, pet or the pet parent?
See, the decision maker is the pet parent, right? But ultimately, dogs have to like, the pet has to like it, and a lot of time we get reviews from our feedback from our customers that my dog didn't like the smell. So I don't know how they know that the smell was the problem or texture, but ultimately parents know that whether the dog is liking it or not. So ultimately they are driving the sales, but decision maker is the
We call it the acquisition is of the pet parent, the retention comes from the pet.
pet. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, nicely put. I was listening to this one podcast of AI, and there was like radical ideas being shared, and one of the ideas was eventually if the AGI works out, if AI really hits its apex, there will be a time where pets would be able to communicate, where we'll be able to like create a pattern of the voice, and then we'll be able to understand them more.
I'm sure all pet parents, they imagine at one point that, wish,
Yeah,
what
they
if?
are in their minds. They're already talking to their pets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We do that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, there are some games where you ask a question and pet the dog, he presses yes and no. So that is that has become very viral on internet. That at least you are communicating.
Mm. I mean, like YouTube was at one point of time all about cat videos, right? I mean, like probably cats have the highest number of memes being created upon, and
Yeah, it has the highest engagement, the highest viewership, I think, across any categories that I've ever seen.
do you guys create cat memes as a you do you create cat memes as a part of your marketing strategy?
See, we are for that 24 to 28-year-old pet parent, which is our communication TG. So we would want to educate them and we would want to keep them entertained as well. So it's a healthy mix of educational content and content which keeps them engaged, keeps them hooked. So there is always a mix of both
Since he
maintained.
asked memes, so I also want to understand. So, as a brand, what kind of marketing or positioning you want to keep? So, do you want to ever do meme kind of content, or you want to always be, someone who's position of authority, right? Serious, and you are taken seriously.
So we would want to be the neighborhood friend, companion of that pet parent. Now in that we need not alone be only serious. We need to be able to bifurcate our communication into that of authority when it matters, when it counts, when it is seeked by the pet parent as well. But we need to be maintain a relationship of a friend, of a companion with the pet, with the pet parent. In fact, most of our pet relationship managers who interact with the customers on an everyday basis, they're called super companions. We've branded them as super companions. They speak to the pet parent on an everyday basis. They take care of their queries, problems, needs, or education through chat, call, whatever they want to. So we would not stay away from memes because if you're a companion, you're a friend, you will have a light moment. You would also tell friendly advice, and that's when you will bring in the vet to bring position of authority, more expert advice. So it's a complicated jugglery, but yeah, you have to manage that all of it. What our dream would be if Supertails was thought of as my go-to place for anything pet care. If I can replace Supertails as a verb towards pet care, or as the connotation of pet care, whether the through whatever type of communication I'd do it.
One more question. So, in your Vets on Call service, what is the funniest SOS you have got so far?
There are many of them. I'll talk two, and these are our favorites. So there was this one person who called us and uh, said that I was told that I should move to packaged food, so I have done that for the last 30 days or so. I was told by my local vet, and I can't see anything happening with my pet. So obviously the vet understood and asked, okay, how are you giving it? How much what are you doing? Which food, etc., etc. So the customer told about the brand, and she said, okay, how much are you giving? So he said, I'm giving do goli subah, do goli sham.
Oh God.
So they were giving 2 pellets of the pet food in the morning as medicine, and 2 pets
And no
pellets.
food?
No, obviously they were giving that additionally. Uh, so it's been like that, and we've had people microwaving dog food.
Yeah.
Dry
Oh,
food.
the cable.
Yeah, microwaving, because my dog only likes warm
Warm
food. And I don't know what happens to the food after that. I've never tried it, so I don't know what actually happens to the food when you do that at high temperatures. There was this couple of girls who called us very early in our journey, and they said, "Ki, we don't know what has happened to our cat." And they said, we just brought her, maybe a couple of weeks back. And we said, our vet said, what is happening? He's making a very, very strange noise. We are very, very scared. And, so we had video consultation as an option. And the vet went on a video consultation and brought the cat in the frame. The cat was purring. They did not know what purring means, which means the cat is actually calm and happy about things. And they said it sounds like a helicopter. It sounds like we don't know what has happened to her. She was not like this when we brought her home. So there are very basic misconceptions that exist in the category. While the gap is getting closer, it's narrowing down now, but yeah, still a long way to.
There was one family from Delhi, and they said our dog loves dairy milk. हर रोज एक dairy milk खाता है. And chocolates are poisonous to dogs. Should not feed it.
Absolutely poisonous to do.
And the dog was still like, I said, how old is your dog? Like 5-6 years. मैं भी बंद कर दो.
Chocolate is not good.
The marketer in me coming up with all content strategy. I mean, like I can think of. I mean, like with AI, you can make podcasts between like two cats talking and complaining about their owners. No, I mean like and maybe a debate round between cat owners and dog owners, and the title is cat owners are more loyal than dogs.
I think that you don't even need AI, because that happens.
No, you don't do that with AI.
That happens every day between cat owners.
For
and
that
cat
you
parents
bring
and
in real
dog
people, but then two cats pitching about their owners, two dogs pitching about their owners. So yeah, just the marketer in me coming up with.
But I feel that AI content is so much right now that people have started to not just, it is noise right now. So I personally as a brand, we don't do AI content because it is too artificial and everybody is doing it. So as a brand, what is your value add that you are doing?
I think the value add is on the message, no, not on the process of the message being created.
You see, we are all using AI to make our works easier, but we don't want to take away the creative part of it and the core of it.
That's the agency side of you talking.
Yeah, that is my agency side talking. But we are fed up with the AI content which general people are creating.
True.
So that is just polluting the feed, I feel.
I asked him one question earlier, and I'd like to ask you that, coming from a marketing side, do you feel that leverage, do you feel that confidence इस इंडस्ट्री में तो कोई छुएगा नहीं मुझे, some kind of.
I'm not overconfident, but the marketing background and the agency helps us a lot because marketing is difficult to understand and very expensive to implement.
And very difficult to outsource, in fact. I mean, like, you really need somebody who is as passionate as you are.
Yeah, to understand the brand, the core values, and then communicate the same with the same passion to the customer. And outsource, not just because the agencies don't get it, but it is very expensive, and the amount of marketing you need to say sell globally, it would have been very difficult if we didn't have the marketing engine with us. So that way we are maybe slightly overconfident.
And particularly in this industry where the education is so less, and then you might have to invest a lot of money just to educate people, right? I'm again imagining a point of time where with AI maybe cats and dogs would be start to communicate, and you as an agency have to create content for a cat strolling on it.
We have to create real content.
Yeah.
Because I think then later people will crave authenticity.
True. Amazing. Thank you so much. I think we are almost at the end of our episode. So one last question. If 25-year-old Vineet and Sneh has to start this thing, how would you do it differently? Just make it short, satik.
I would do nothing differently because I loved the journey so much that I will exactly do the same thing again because the process was beautiful and how we evolved as individuals, as brand and as industry. I don't want to miss that. So I think I'll still do the same thing again.
I think, as I said, only thing that we would probably change is the order of things and not the end outcome. I think the end outcome in all of these stages, in all of these paths, is going to remain the same. But as you know, Google always suggests the shortest path or the least traffic path. By now, we've figured out a few least traffic paths. If I were to do it again, I will just probably change the path, not the destination.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot. I think tons of ideas, and for our audience, too many things to pick up, and hopefully you guys will pick at least one thing and execute it, because the whole idea is to get you inspired and be a doer, right? So thank you so much once again.
And thanks to you, I think in the pet industry, this might be the first one which two brands are doing together, the podcast.
Yes, this is the first one.
So the industry is so new, and so I think you are it will be a very important episode for the industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for our audience, we'll be back again with another amazing episode within Bangalore series. Keep watching, like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Awesome.